fantasy check-in now for the New York Knicks and the questions that you guys asked me. There's a very, very common theme that goes through this. Eric Wong says, is Fizdale ever going to give us a consistent rotation? The answer is pretty clearly no. And then it's a lot of discussion about the centres. How stable is Noah Vonleh's value in the long term? Will it take a hit with Mitchell Robinson coming back? And I'll say this. I think there is a legitimate chance from here on out that not one single New York Knicks player is a top 100 guy for the rest of the season. I think that's a legitimate chance. Cornette, Cantor, Mitchell Robinson at centre, Noah Vonleh. Let's just talk about those guys and how that situation could potentially pan out. The problem here is now the guy who I think has got the most consistent value is Vonleh, but he can't stay out of foul trouble. In fact, he's barely got to 20 minutes in about 3 of the last 4 games because of fouls. And then there's the Fizdale nonsense that gets thrown on top of that where he'll be all over the place. So he's probably the most consistent. As for Cantor, I don't think he ends the season as a member of the Knicks team. I think he will get traded at some point this season around the trade deadline area, or he's going to be bought out and sent home and not playing in this rotation. But he gets benched. He plays 15 minutes. Then he complains and he plays 27 minutes off the bench. And then he'll probably go back to starting again. It's all over the place. So there's no way of being able to predict this. Luke Cornette was starting. Continue to start. Cantor was out, so he moved to the bench. So Vonleh could start at centre and Lance Thomas could come in for an all-important 20 minutes. And Cornette then played a lot of minutes in that role. And he's been putting up some okay numbers for this season, but this is all without Mitchell Robinson. And then Robinson comes back, who started and came off the bench and is dealing with foul troubles as well. And then, of course, does Porzingis ever return? I don't really think that he will, but that's another wrinkle to throw into there. So, for standard leagues, the only guy I think you really want to have is Cantor, just as a hold in a lot of cases. But if you're in a struggling scenario, the Knicks have one game this week. Cantor's not even going to play it. You might just need to move on there. But he's clearly the best option. But I don't see any of these guys being real top 100 players for this season. You could use Robinson as a blocks stream. Cornette could be that threes blocks combo, a lightweight Porzingis, if you will. And Cantor, the minutes are just too unpredictable. And Vonleh is just a very, very low upside player. So no, Fizdale's rotations won't be consistent. And the centre spot, it's just a complete mess. And I imagine it's going to stick that way for the rest of the season.